Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Dragon Chopper. That's right, one of the vehicles that belongs to the evil Foot Clan. Let's check this thing out and see if it's worth picking up. The Dragon Chopper comes in a window box packaging, so it fully showcases the vehicle within, along with its included exclusive foot soldier action figure. The back of that packaging shows off a look at the vehicle itself and explains the really cool action feature that goes along with the Dragon Chopper. So, let's take a look at this bad boy outside of the packaging. First of all, the design of this thing is really cool. It's a very basic paint job. It's mostly a solid black with some red highlights on the wheels, and of course the eyes of the dragon are a nice glowing red. There's a red orb in its mouth. And then there are some silver highlights on the engine pieces down below. So it's pretty basic, but still is effective because it's really cool looking. It's got a great sculpt where the design of the bike looks like a cool oriental type dragon. You got this really nice flag that sticks off the back of the bike that's got some cool Japanese symbols on there. And then of course, we've got the exclusive foot soldier that is included with it. Now, before we actually put the foot soldier on the bike itself, let's take a look at this figure. I was surprised to find out that this is a fully articulated foot soldier action figure. In fact, it's the exact same foot soldier figure that is sold on the single blister cards with a different paint job and added accessories. Because the helmet is a removable piece. You can pop that off and it just reveals the regular foot soldier head sculpt underneath. So it's the same sculpt, except for this time around he's painted with a brown and gray paint scheme instead of the black and gray paint scheme that the regulars are painted with. I actually think that's really cool because it gives you some variety with your foot soldiers, which we always saw back in the original line. And that way you can pair that up with some of your other foot soldiers, and it's a great way to help build up your foot soldier army. Get a bunch of foot soldiers to help the Shredder defeat the good guys. So he's got this little extra harness that is on him that is for the bike, but you can remove that harness, and he includes his regular quiver piece that sheathes the swords. It's the same sword sheath that comes with that standard foot soldier again, so it's got the single sword and the small little short sword, and you can have those held in either one of his hands. So it's a great alternate way to display this figure. But let's go ahead and put him back in his bike gear now with the helmet and that cool little harness piece so I can show you exactly how all this works. So, taking a look at the bike, you'll notice that there is this little lever that kind of swings around on the front of the bike here. There's also this little piece on the seat that's popping up. You need to press this down, and then before we actually sit the foot soldier on the bike, this little lever thing actually attaches into that harness on his backpack. Now, in order to position him onto the bike, in order for this action feature to work properly, you actually have to spin him around and then get him seated on the bike. So then we can get him to kind of hold the handlebars, position him to look like he's actually riding the bike. And in order for this action feature to work, don't actually make him gripping the handlebars because we don't want him to hold onto the bike. He's going to do a really cool flip off of the bike. So before we do that, it is worth noting that you can pop up the little kickstand here. The wheels roll very nicely on this, so you can get them zooming down the New York City streets. And then all of a sudden, we stop because the turtles are up ahead. So our foot soldier is ready for action. There's this little red lever on the back. So when you press this lever, our foot soldier does a front flip off of the bike, and he's ready to go. How cool is that? You need to see that again? All right, let me show you. Push the piece on the seat down. You wind the foot soldier up, position him on the seat bike, hit the little lever. He does a front flip and pretty much just lands on his feet on the front. How cool is that? That is a really fun little action feature. And then it's very easy just to pop him off that, and he's ready to go battle the turtles. Now, fun little note. Something I didn't realize. Remember I told you when you hook them on there, you have to spin them up to actually wind up the feature. I didn't realize that at first because the first thing I did is I just popped them on here like this. If I can even get them on. and I sat him on the bike. And that is something that you don't want to do unless you want to pretend that your foot soldier crashed and just fell over the handlebars. Blech. So, if you wanted to actually do the front flip and land on his feet, remember, you got to wind him and then flip him back onto the seat. And then he flips up and around. Very cool little action feature. It's a lot of fun. The lever, not so bad. It doesn't really get in the way. I mean, it doesn't really ruin the look of the bike, and you can always turn the bike around this direction if you don't really like the lever. That's a fun action feature, though. I think it's really cool, and I think kids will really enjoy playing with it. And one of the things I just really think is neat about this is that we get a full-on foot soldier action figure. This thing is a great value because it only retails for about $15, and you're getting a vehicle and a full action figure with some really cool accessories. Helps you bolster the rank of your foot soldiers, gives your bad guys a vehicle. You can't really complain about that. It's a really cool vehicle, and I would highly suggest picking this guy up and adding him to your collection. So the Dragon Chopper is on store shelves right now, so happy hunting, and until next time.